Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Sammons, and in each episode we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by Vanessa Sturman, a health and nutrition coach and speaker who works with individuals, organisations to improve energy, resilience and long-term health through practical, science-based lifestyle changes. Her mission is clear and grounded, helping people feel energized, resilient and healthy in a way that actually fits real life and real work. Vanessa, welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me on.
Such a pleasure. And I'm really excited to dive in and learn more about your journey. So let's start at the beginning. With all of my guests, I do like to start at the beginning. So walk me through, what was you doing before we jumped into the health and wellness space? And then from there, what was the motivation behind it?
So before I jumped into this space, I've had some significant career changes, but I worked for a long time in change management and behavior change in the corporate world. And I found it incredibly interesting working on culture change, how people were using their spaces and organizations, that behavior change that was really needed when you have an entire new fit out of an office and wanting to change how people work in a more modern way. Really fun and interesting, but it didn't integrate my biggest passion, which is probably food and health. But I've always been interested in food and health. I actually had a binge eating disorder as a teenager, which was very difficult, horrible, painful, nothing glamorous about it at all. But because I always loved food, when I went to get over my eating disorder and make sure that I was going to be healthy and thriving, my mission was to make sure that I was eating really delicious food, but at the same time looking after my health and weight management. And that's why I went and looked at evidence-based nutrition and thought, I've got to build this into my life. I want to eat delicious food. I want to eat out at nice restaurants, but I also want to be healthy. So that's what I give people today. So you don't have to be restrictive. It can be delicious, the food of your culture, and it can work.
I love that. And I feel like that is the big dilemma with people when they think about eating healthy. It's like, but I don't want to cut out my favorite foods. I don't want to go to restaurants. I don't want to not eat the foods that I want to eat at home. And it's like, you can do that in a very nice controlled way. We're just going to look at the whole picture and then take it from there. So let's dive into that a little bit more then, because I'm very intrigued to find out more. So with regards to like, who would you say is your ideal customer? So who do you generally love to work with the most? And then from them, how is it you help them and how do you support them along that journey?
So I have two streams of customers, but let's go for the corporate side first.
Okay.
I love working with corporates that really understand that something like well-being, and I don't use that word that much, even though it is a big part of what I do, but they understand it's an employer benefit, not just an employee benefit. Companies that really want a healthy work culture, they want their leaders to function well. They understand that functioning well as a team or a leader isn't just about having the right mindset or the right time prioritization structures, that if you are not healthy, the foundation of your organization is not stable. So I want to work with companies that understand that and get excited about the work I'm doing, saying, we want you to come in and help our people with small habits built into their busy lives in a way that is fun, non-restrictive, looks at their culture and celebrates different cuisines. We want that to create more engagement, and we want our people to be healthier. We know this is going to help them outside of work to have better relationships, enjoy their weekends more. It's no point if you're knackered on the weekend. So it's those organizations that understand how impactful this can be and are ready to jump on board. And then on the one-to-one side, I really work with a range of people. So sometimes I work with people who are actually a little bit older, so people who are actually often like plus 50, because sometimes that's the point where they go, I really need to do something about my food and energy levels, because they start thinking about the latter part of their life. And then I do also sometimes get people who are a lot younger, and I love working with people who are younger as well, who want to go on the more preventative side of things and think, I want to have a more energized life overall. But in the end, it's anyone who is ready to make changes. They understand this is not restrictive. This is not a strict meal plan. Yeah. This is about getting the right habits, the balance on the plate, and making sure it's something that's sustainable for the rest of their lives. That also includes the restaurants, the travel, and that it's something that they are willing to stick to, but have flexibility with.
Mm. And I think that's the key to it, right? Is you can't do the work for them. So the fact they have to be ready and good to go, even when it comes to corporations and individuals, it is that willingness to kind of get dive in and take this process seriously. And then with regards to corporations, as well, I feel like there's a lot of people cutting budgets when it comes to wellness, when it comes to health within the workplace, and burnout is becoming a big thing. And nutrition has a lot to do with that because people are not taking care of their bodies, but it only aids productivity within the workplace. So to me,
Yeah.
it kind of seems like a catch-22 when they do cut funding for that kind of thing. And are you finding that's becoming maybe more prominent as budgets get tighter, I guess, is the comment.
Yeah, it really depends, and it depends what area this is sitting in.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I work in the performance and leadership area. So yes, I get booked for well-being because it sort of fits within that. But I'm looking at what is holding the foundation of your leaders and your teams
Gotcha.
together.
Yeah.
So there is budget for that. Now, it does depend. You're completely right. Budget starts getting cut. It depends where they want to see this kind of work. If an organization is already not completely on board with this idea that actually if your people are not physically healthy, that is going to impact your productivity. We know that businesses lose billions every year when it comes to absenteeism or even presenteeism. So presenteeism is when someone is coming to work and is sick in some kind of way and is you know it, pen pushing because they're
Yeah.
sick, they can't work properly, but they're like, well, I've got to sit at this desk and pretend I'm here. Some organizations get that and they realize, no, we need to spend money on this. They also realize that as budgets are being cut, they have got to keep people engaged because that also affects productivity. But yes, you're right. Of course, when it comes to some of that wellness space, some businesses will cut that. But in the end, you get what you pay for. So if you say, oh, we can do this in-house, but you've got no nutrition experts in health and
Yeah.
no behavior change experts in health in-house, you will get what you pay for.
In-house or in health?
In
Both work.
both. There we go. Yeah.
There's no need to correct it there. It work both ways. Amazing. So, like, what is it like to work with you then, Vanessa? Is this like, obviously, I'm assuming because we have corporations and individuals, it might be slightly different depending on which aspect we come in on. But is this on a one-to-one level? Is it more like a workshop that we can maybe follow along and learn in our own time? Like, what is that process like?
Right. So we'll put divide into two main strands, the speaking strand and the one-to-one coaching side. So if you book me for a talk, so I am a multi-award winning speaker. I'm featured regularly in the media. I was on Jeremy Vine's show the other day, Sky News health expert for BBC Radio Oxfordshire. So if you want someone who's going to be busting nutrition myths, basically taking the misinformation and taking the science of nutrition and translating it onto people's plates and saying, look, this is the complicated stuff. It doesn't have to be complicated. Let's break it
Yeah.
down. What does this mean for me in my busy life, my busy job? What changes can I actually go and make? I am very practical. I'm very fun. This has got to be about delicious food. If people are not also enjoying this themselves, they're probably not going to take away actions. They're probably going to switch off, especially if they are on a virtual session with you, because they'll just get on with their emails in the background. So we want it to be fun. We want people to see themselves in the examples. So I talk about how you can adapt your plate to be healthier, better for the planet as well, with
Yeah.
ingredients that you might already have in your cupboards and making it clear what ingredients we need to build more into our lives to be healthier. But making sure you're doing this with your favorite foods. We are not talking about cutting anything out at all. We're talking more about adding and adapting and what we do need to reduce, but that comes naturally when we start adding and adapting. So it's a very abundant talk as opposed to anything restrictive. So that's on the speaker side. And I
Okay.
also do series of workshops, group coaching. But on the one-to-one coaching side, it is very personalized, very safe space. You know, people might be struggling with diet mentality. They might feel embarrassed about what they eat. So, from what I've gone through in the past in terms of my binge eating disorder, that side's very important for people to
Yeah.
understand. This is a safe space. There is nothing embarrassing in anything you're going to tell me. I might be telling you have to go and see your doctor about some things because I'm not a doctor. And supporting people in what that holistic approach might be in their life. I might say you need to go and see a specialist in that,
Yeah.
but let's look at your food, let's look at your habits and build something in that you are excited to do that is doable around your life and might include convenience foods, giving people
Yeah.
that nuance of, look, here are some really healthy convenience foods, by the way. Let's get those bit into your life so you can actually go and enjoy yourself more.
I love it. So very, very tailored approach on both ends as well because you are very much adapting it speaking wise and program wise to the person's need and goals, which is really cool. And just making it very knowledge based because I feel like that's half the problem with nutrition sometimes. People don't understand it. It's forever changing. It's such a new science, such a new field that's always coming through. And it's hard to stay on top and it's hard to be told different things all the time because the space is so noisy as well. So I really like that you just no, we're going to continue. We're going to adapt it to you. Yes, you may be going to a doctor and they can help with things that I can't, but at least you have the knowledge and awareness of what's going on within your body and what you're actually putting into it as well. So I'm curious to find out then how you go about acquiring your customers. Again, you have the two different strands. So like I'm very interested to see like in terms of techniques or like methods, what are you finding most effective in really finding that right person to work with?
Oh, so on the corporate side, I go to a lot of networking events. I'm an extrovert. I enjoy networking events. It's a very effective place for me. And once people meet me and feel my energy, because if you go and Google online, you can find speakers everywhere. And a lot of people, and it's completely fine, call themselves a speaker because anyone can be a speaker, by the way. You can just decide, you can wake up tomorrow and go, I'm going to speak on calendars. I had to make that up. I don't know. You can literally decide you're going to do that and then
Yeah.
start filming yourself or even go to an organization and say, do you want to book me for a talk? Now, there's a very big difference between a professional speaker who can tailor what they're doing, engage an audience, enact change and inspiration versus another speaker. So it's something you have to build up your professionalism in. So if you're going to be working with me, you are getting a professional speaker. So when people meet you and they see what you're doing, they understand, yeah, this is someone who is going to help me make a really big impact in my organization. So networking events, LinkedIn, referrals. I read an amazing book actually called The Referable Speaker. And the important thing about that is that you speaking is your biggest sales tool. So someone's seeing you speak and saying, "Oh, I better tell my friend who also works at an organization that needs a speaker. Look, we've got someone that we know is good." So organizations want things de-risked. They don't want to risk having a speaker that people say that was a waste of an hour or whatever that was. They want someone where they know exactly what they're getting. So a mix of that, mix of social media. And then on the one-to-one side, again, I meet a lot of people at events. I meet a lot of people through social media, referrals. I have tried one of those lead generation sites and I'm still on it and the odd thing comes through, but it's a very slow and cold process. So I have got
Mm.
clients from that, some wonderful clients. I met some lovely people through that, but it's a
Yeah.
hard sell through those.
Well, it's that like no trust factor, which speaking is amazing for. As you say, if you're an engaged speaker, and I can tell that you are, and a good speaker, then people are going to know you, they're going to like you, they're going to trust what you're doing, they're going to really resonate with you and your story. It's very hard to do that with people that kind of don't really know you online. So it's having that aspect on both areas of it. And then like with lead gen sites, do you run any form of like paid ads as well across social media to like maybe drive in some more traffic?
I haven't used paid ads. I would
Okay.
consider it. I think because I did a lot of one-to-one and then I moved to doing a bit more corporate and I obviously still do the consumer one-to-one side. So I haven't felt the need to do adverts at the moment. But like I said, I wouldn't completely put it aside. If I was going to do it, I would think very carefully about who I work with.
Yeah.
In the same
Yeah.
way, I expect people to be very careful about how they are distributing their funds in terms of whether it's hiring a coach or a speaker. I'm very careful about where I maybe want to put mine in terms of that return on investment. So if you have any suggestions and you think there is someone who's brilliant to help with those online ads and actually gets you a return on investment, I'm of course always up for recommendations.
Fully. And it's just a great way to add consistency through the lead gen, through online acquisition. My brain's gone blank at the moment. But yeah, so it's just a great way to add consistency to that. But I agree 100% what you're saying about it's finding that right person to work with, as you would if someone was looking for a nutritionist. You want to be a good fit on both sides. And I feel like when it comes to spending money with advertisements or even they use an agency, people don't do their due diligence enough. They don't look into it. They don't kind of realize how much money they're giving away and how much they can get back if they do it correctly. So yeah, here at Closers, we do a good job. We find the right people and we go from there. But with regards to your team as well, Vanessa, are you still a solopreneur running all this by yourself, kind of juggling the many hats, doing the speaking, doing the coaching, or do you have some people that maybe help you on the back end of things as well?
So I have an amazing assistant, virtual
Amazing.
assistant, so a real person, and she's just incredible. She's really really brilliant. She's taking a little bit of time off which is terrifying because I'm going, okay, fine, of course, go and have your holiday. And that's just testament to how good she is. So I can obviously do all the tasks without her, but she's really, really good, really, really on the ball. And that has been a big weight off my shoulders working with her, and we're a good team. So
Yeah.
that's brilliant. With speaking and organizations that want something that's more program based and they want to bring in other speakers or topics, I have a network of people that I work with on that front that I can partner with. And I am actually part of other wellness or performance companies where corporates book sessions, one-to-one sessions through them. So I have various teams actually within what I do, but in terms of
Nice.
my specific business, could say yes, it's just me, other than my assistant.
It's you and a VA, but it's nice to have a little bit of support that you can lean on. And then even then, as you're saying with the speaking and the agencies or the companies you're working with, again, it's just nice to have a group of people that can alleviate some of those jobs for you, just to allow you to work on what you need to do. And would one of your goals be to like maybe grow your personal team a little bit more and maybe have a team of your own coaches that you can obviously then relieve even more of your time as well?
Yes, I think if I felt that was the right path, I
Yeah.
absolutely would. There are so many coaches that I already work with, and we sometimes work with the same people, so that works really well. I would possibly love to eventually have something like an app, something a bit more scalable as well that can be offered to corporates.
Yeah.
I think that would be really, really fantastic. I would just want to make sure I'm doing it properly because I'm aware there's so many nutrition programs, apps, courses, and fine, it's not about something being absolutely perfect, but when it comes to helping people with their nutrition, I do want it to be accurate. I do want to make sure it is getting people the right result. If they're doing something that's interacting with a virtual being in some way, it needs to make sure that those people are safe,
Yeah,
basically.
fully.
So that's my biggest concern, I think, with using something like an app where someone is not interacting with another qualified human.
Yeah, that's the danger of it at the moment. And I feel like AI is at that level where it can't be left to its kind of own devices when it comes to that kind of automations, that level of advice that it's giving as well. So, Vanessa, with all that being said, like, what are your plans for the next 6 to 12 months? What is that like end goal for you when you think about scaling the business, and taking it to another level?
So for next year, my biggest goal is the work with corporates. So
Mhm.
doing longer programs with them, programs where they really understand actually to really embed this, we do want to take people through a proper program of events, keep up that momentum. We really understand how important health is. And I think with the way trends keep moving, I think it's never going to go away in that
Yeah.
sense. I know obviously the budget side is there, but that's not really going to go away. So that is probably my purely biggest aim. That mix of the workshops, the keynotes, the one-to-one coaching, more TV appearances, of course. So it's I've had TV appearances and radio appearances for years, and that's been fantastic. So just continuing with that, and I think I should have said I get clients through that as well, because obviously people see a TV appearance and they say, "Oh, come along on a panel or come and do a talk for us," which is really brilliant. Another very fun way of getting
Yeah,
clients. But
I can
it would
imagine.
be for me working with people in partnership. So I love working with my clients in partnership. So of course, I'm developing all the talks, I'm developing the topics around those, but working with organizations to really dig down, well, what exactly do you need? What would your people find most helpful? And then I create from that space. So
Yeah.
much more satisfying, so much more tailored, and working with whether it's a CEO or an HR professional or people professional that actually knows what their people need, because then I'm going to do a better job if I've had it communicated to me, actually, this is what our organization's like and this is what we really need.
I love it. And where are you finding the biggest challenge for yourself in kind of taking that next step and moving forward?
Oh, the biggest challenge is probably, I suppose, getting in front of enough corporates all at the same time
Yeah.
as well. So obviously advertising can help with that. When people do meet me and do understand what I do, they're like, wow, this is really, really great. Actually, that's something we really want to explore. It would be my ability to maybe using AI actually to get in front of more of those clients. So interestingly, I started a blog on my website. Now, I have no proof of this particular link, but since I started it, I started getting more inquiries through my website from speaker bureaus, from potential clients. So for me, it kind of really shifted that, yeah, actually, I want to put more content out there that gets me into more AI searches. It may have been complete coincidence that I got more of these inquiries after putting these blog posts out. They're good blog posts. Go and check out my website, everyone, and go and read the blog post. You'll get some great tips. So I think for me, it's making sure that I am putting out more of that content to appear in more Google searches and in more AI searches.
Yeah, I love it. So just getting the SEO up there. And it is just about being top of mind, as you say, consistent out there, authentically out there as well. Just showing who you are and trusting that people will find you is a great way to go about it. And when it comes to corporate, do you find it's maybe slightly longer process of finding that right person as well? Because there is maybe a number of people you have to go through before you have that like decision maker on the end of the line.
Do you know, it's really interesting. It really depends on the size of corporate. So,
Yeah.
I will interact with different people. Sometimes I'll be chatting to the CEO of a corporate and they'll be on board and they'll literally just send me to their head of people, head of HR. It's very, very simple. It tends to be when it's a slightly smaller or medium-sized business, it's a clear process.
Yeah.
There's not 20 sign-offs. It's a lot easier. With bigger businesses, of course, it is a bit harder, and they are juggling lots of programs, lots of priorities. Things can very quickly get cut. So it really depends on the organization. And yeah, that's maybe why medium organizations, I'm not saying they're easier to work with in terms of the people at all, but in terms of process and sign
Yeah.
off, it can be a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I can fully understand. As you say, just the bigger the belly, I mean, the bigger the beast, the bigger belly, so the more people you have to kind of go through. And Vanessa, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your incredible journey and insight with us. Where can our listeners reach out to work with you or connect with you if they would like to do so?
So you can go to my website, vanessasturman.com, or you can go to my Instagram, Vanessa for Health, and that for is FOR, by the way. Or you can just find me on LinkedIn, Vanessa Sturman. Send me a message through any of those. I'm all about building relationships. So if you just want to have a chat and explore, just drop me that message, or you can book directly into my calendar through one of those platforms.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you again for joining us. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to go and check out Vanessa and all the amazing work that she's doing. And do not forget to subscribe to Founders Future via wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from $0 to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. But until then, keep on climbing and we will see you on the next one.